everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Biohacking Beauty podcast. I'm very, very excited and thankful that you guys have joined us today. My guest today is someone I have reached out and invited on the podcast because I am in love with their event. Her name is Robin Switzer, and she is an entrepreneur and the owner of Q1 Productions. Her company owns the popular health and wellness event KetoCon. KetoCon has been bringing the health optimization community together annually since 2017 for a 3-day event filled with non-stop motivation and inspiration, learning, networking, making new friends, sampling and tasting all of the latest innovative products on the market, and enjoying the city of Austin, which is going to be April 21st to 23rd. We will be diving deep into what KetoCon means, what to expect from this event, some of the speakers, the exhibitors that are going to be there, Robin's story, what brought her to have a company that organizes KetoCon, and why this conference is not only about ketogenic diet, but it's actually really stems out of the idea of healthy nutrition, but goes into every facet of self-optimization we can think of. 3 things that you will learn from this podcast. One is, about Robin's personal health challenges that led her to search for a solution, about her jump from corporate America to being an entrepreneur, and her vision for KetoCon in the future. Very, very excited. And obviously, again, you'll learn about this amazing opportunity to give some wind into the sail of your health journey. Before we dive into today's episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 2 seconds out of your day to subscribe to the podcast. Not only does this ensure you will never miss on an episode, but also greatly helps the growth of this podcast. And if you can even if you're listening to this through Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere else that allows you to leave a review, we would definitely highly appreciate that as well. Last but not least, I would like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Young Goose, the biohacking skincare brand. What we do in Young Goose is we aim to lower the functional age of your skin, which means that the skin can now optimally follow the tasks that we give it, and then we give it specific tasks, whether it is eliminating wrinkles, laxity, hyperpigmentation, elevating hydration and improving overall hydration in the skin, and treating acne as well, alongside repairing the skin barrier and addressing something that is called leaky skin, alongside imbuing the skin with more glow. I highly recommend going to younggoose.com and taking the skin quiz and very quickly find out what system your skin would benefit from. So head over to younggoose.com, take the skin quiz, or start with a specific product that talks to you the most. But now, without further ado, please welcome Robin Switzer. All right, Robin, welcome to the Biohacking Beauty podcast. I am very, very happy to have you on. Obviously, you're the organizer of one of my favorite events of all time. So, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, the reason that I wanted to have you on is because we are getting ready. 3 started. And this is a year where we are extremely selective as far as the venues that we are attending, since the company is growing. Venues are not our first priority, but it was always clear to us that one of the events that we cannot miss, especially now that it is in the perfect time of year to visit Austin. So how did you kind of get into, or had the idea to have KetoCon? Because KetoCon started.
To produce this
Yeah.
event. Yeah, it was in 2000. We did the 2017, and I mean, this was really through my own health journey led me to low carb and ketogenic diets, and I found resolution to those problems through this lifestyle. And at the time in 2016, I was working for a global bank. I was working in financial corporate America. And for several years, I had been looking for a way to take the skill set that I had developed over the course of my career and translate it into, I didn't know how to do it. I had always had a passion for health, diet, nutrition. And I saw something pop up in a Facebook group looking for a program manager, which I had no idea what that was. I had been in for years. And I started talking to the person who posted the ad and it turned out to be Brian Williamson, who at the time owned Keto Evangelist, which was a startup company that had multiple podcasts and all these different business lines, but it was all focused around the ketogenic diet and lifestyle. We talked an hour or so phone with my husband. I said, I think there's something here for me. And Brian and I talked again. And then about 2 weeks later, I quit Bank of America. Wow. I resigned from my 15-year career, 20-year career, and started working with Brian with, by the way, no promise of compensation. Wow. So my husband and I agreed I'd give it 1 year. And if I wasn't making any money, then I'd go back to banking. I was lucky because my kids were grown and fully independent, so I didn't have that anymore. So I did about 6 months on, and that became our biggest project. We did KetoCon 2017 and 19, and we grew exponentially every single year. And then 2020 happened, and our biggest project that was also our biggest revenue generator was over. We didn't know when it was going to come back. He came to me and said, we're bleeding so fast, I can't keep this, shut everything down. I'm a pretty stubborn individual and I wasn't ready to throw in the towel. And I basically told him that if he was willing to sell it to me, that I would acquire everything until it was time again. And that's literally hired a lawyer and wrote out a contract, and I took over. And Brian went back to work, and I did KetoCon online in 2020, which was a huge failure, but it was the only. And then we waited and started planning for 2021, which we couldn't do. And then 2020 live last year. So that's a very short version of how I got to where I am right now, owning a large event like this, and also being the organizer and the producer and the business brain behind it.
Wow. And when you took it upon yourself to really to be the boss, to organize everything, did you have a better grasp on what you're doing? Was that a decision that was mainly connected to the mission aspect of it, or you saw how that could be a profit?
Well, both. I had been running the event since day one anyway. So when we first launched it, I was doing all the exhibitor sales. I was doing all the speaker communications, but I learned over the years how to improve it. And I mean, to be honest with you, I had never been an event organizer before. I had always, in financial services, I had always been a speaker or an exhibitor in a financial services, conference, but never the organizer behind the scenes. So the way that I designed this event was simply backing into the experience that I had as an exhibitor. Built it.
Beautiful.
And now I use a few third-party software platforms to help us manage things like registration. I'm self-taught.
Wow. Well, one of the reasons that I am very inspired by your conference, and the reason that I'm attached to it so much, and I think you know that, is because I have a dichotomy as far as my feeling towards the community around keto. And the reason is because I feel that obviously we talk about metabolic flexibility and the way that ketogenic diet benefits our health, benefits longevity, benefits the skin, can resolve a lot of issues. Um, but I feel that a big part of the community, and maybe someone could argue that it's rightfully so, is doing it in order to find a way to have cheat meals and still feel that they're healthy. And that's, that if that is,
Mm,
the best you can do, then great. It is a good start. It's better than nothing. But the reason I'm in love with KetoCon is because, in my eyes, it has turned to a more of a health optimization conference rather than anything else.
mhm.
So I'm very interested as far as like, how did this happen? Was that your journey discovering the health benefits of keto? Like,
Well, I have to say that I understand where you're coming from. So when the ketogenic diet first started becoming popular,
mhm,
all the companies with deep pockets started jumping into the space and making replacement
mhm,
products for junk food. And basically, it's just a replacement, different ingredients, same amount of
yeah,
junk, just labeled differently. And so that's why we have a banned ingredient
mhm,
list. So that that's part one of the things that sets us apart from all these other events is that we've always had food products knocking on our
mhm,
door, food product manufacturers, but we've turned away a lot of them because of their ingredients. So that has set us apart because the keto community that is interested in really improving their health by removing those types of foods from their diet, they trust us
yeah,
to vet those products. But what's happened over the past couple of years has been interesting because we have the same people coming back to the event every year. So those people are still interested in their health, but now they're looking for ways to optimize their health. And you used a great term there, health optimization, because so I can use myself as a
yeah,
perfect example. I had a lot of health issues that I resolved by changing my nutrition.
mhm,
And then once I healed from those issues, I was looking for other ways to continue to optimize my health, other things that I can do to improve my sleep, things that I can do to improve my skin, things that I can do to improve my emotional health,
mhm,
and tracking devices and things like that. So my own journey has kind of played into or paralleled, I think, the journey of other people who have been coming to this event is that they continue to grow and they continue to want to expand their understanding of how to improve their health. That being said, the underlying theme of this event has not
yeah,
changed because if you look at our list of speakers, the amount of information that we're bringing to the table, but the underlying theme is still how to utilize ketosis to improve your health, regardless of if you do it all the time, if you are going in and out of ketosis, or even if you don't do it at all and you just want to understand it. There are so many benefits to understanding changing your diet. It will always be the underlying theme.
it's amazing. And here you can see a little bit how, your background of finance is being injected into this event, because basically what you're saying is, it's like a company starting something and then wanting to scale, but they still need to have their
Mm-hmm.
core. It's kind of the same thing with our health. I think it's the same thing with any type of habit that is now, maybe introducing us to a lifestyle, but also like something that we adopt into our identity. It's very difficult in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
once you've passed, phase one, and you have conquered whatever goals you set for yourself in the beginning, you're getting hungry for more. No pun intended there. Um, and that is when I feel, again, that's why I feel the event is very special, because really there is a reason to come to year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. You are some an event that could be for someone who is an extreme beginner, because you have that banned ingredient list,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, someone can go there and they can just source the whatever is in there, let's say in their ability, potential, whether it is financially, whether it is physically, emotionally, energetically, whatever. But then you're coming the second year and you're figuring, oh, there's this guy explaining to me about Paleolithic, you know, my favorite lecture from last
Ancestral
year,
health.
yeah, ancestral health, and showing me how they lived in caves and what food they sustained
Mm,
themselves, and I can learn about like organ meat, and next year I can learn about whether it is how now that I've lost this 100 pounds, how do I keep my skin healthy and taut and
mm,
and uh, glowing. And on the other hand, I can get into fitness. Like last year I met a lot of fitness experts in KetoCon, which was obviously very interesting to me specifically. So it's a nice
hmm.
scalability that someone can do on a
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because the first couple of years we did KetoCon, I would say the first 2 years, we were almost solely food product
Mhm.
manufacturers, and that is changing now. So less than 50% of our sponsors and exhibitors this year are food product
Mhm.
manufacturers so far, and we still got 3 months to go. So I don't know where that will all fall, but I don't know why. I'm not sure if the the companies that are making really good products are already on big box shelves, and they're not,
Mhm.
they don't go to events anymore. I'm not really sure what that is, but the tools piece, the health optimization tools, all the things that I'm curious about learning about that I want to include in my health journey. It seems that this was note by note doing of my own. It just evolved into what it is,
Mhm.
and I'm very excited to see where we continue to go. A lot of that has happened also because of you, because you've helped introduce us to companies that are in the biohacking space that were kind of turned off by the name keto, and they didn't understand that KetoCon was much more than just a get together for,
Mhm.
or a meetup for people who follow a ketogenic diet.
Yeah, I mean, look, right now in Florida, as we speak, this weekend there was a conference that is along the same, let's say, lines, along the same
Mm-hmm.
baseline of low carb diet or ketogenic diet or those,
Low carb, yeah, the low carb Boca
yeah, low
conference.
carb USA. And
Yeah.
I have attended
Mm-hmm.
this conference because the speakers there, are fantastic. And the real, and again, as you're saying, the difference is what it is becoming when you come the second year, because I've gone there the second year. And I think it's a very telling um, piece as far as who is exhibiting at KetoCon, because what we are seeing, and I'm telling you, as someone who is presenting there the second year, and someone who has gotten a lot of, since I have a lot of friends in this community and people that we collaborate with, I know the
Mm-hmm.
interest around it. As a brand, we are always looking for new communities to call home, right? We're always looking for a community that, even if it is described as something else, would be interested in what I have to offer. I think that is the most crucial piece. It's not even about, you could have a skin anti-aging biohacking conference, but if the and it could have like the best name in the world for our brand, but if the people there wouldn't be interested, for example, in how their skin's going to look in 5, 10, 20 years, which is kind of what we're preaching, or some emotional trauma that can be resolved through taking care of your skin or something like that, that crowd would not really, maybe they will, maybe they not, but it's not a home run as far as the resonance that we're going to get there. And since I feel that the community, maybe it's because it's in Austin, the community around KetoCon has grown into a community that is a now what community. It's like, okay, great, we're gonna get information about ketogenic diet, but then but now what do I do with this information? How can I then gain benefits in other parts of my life? That is what is
Mm.
unique about it. And maybe within that context, what are some of the things that this year are unique? Maybe some speakers or something like that. What do you
Oh, wow. Uh, well, we have a much wider variety of speakers this year, actually, than we've ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we have people coming in to talk about how to improve your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
We have people talking about cold plunge
Mm-hmm.
therapy, people talking about sauna therapy, oxygen therapy. Um, and one of the things I'm super uh, so I use this device at home. I don't have it here with me, but it clips onto my
Alpha
ears,
stem.
and it's yes, I use an Alpha Stem. I actually started using it right after COVID started, when I was so stressed out about
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen next. I was like, I really needed it, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and so I love the I wish Alpha STEM was going to be there, but they're not. But I love the concept of helping people bring themselves
Yeah.
down to baseline, uh, and make stressful situations much easier to cope with. So Brain Tap is going to be at KetoCon, and so I know that they're going to deliver a very similar, not the same type of device, but a very similar experience in how to bring your
Brainwave.
brain
Yeah.
waves. Yes, settle your brain waves. And so that's very exciting to me.
Yeah.
You're going to be helping us all understand how to improve our skin and how to treat, whatever our aging issues are. And I'm super excited about the anti-aging piece, not only because of aesthetics, but overall because I'm I'm probably much older than most of the people that are exhibiting and or speaking at KetoCon. So at this point in my life, I'm not necessarily concerned about how much longer I'm going to live, because I don't want to live the last 10 years of my life in pain or, disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So my focus on longevity is improving my baseline now so that I can continue to stay healthy into my older years. So my intention is to live into my 90s or more. That gives me another 30 years. So I want to live them well. And so anything that I feel is going to help deliver the message on how to do that, I want to incorporate into the event.
Yeah. I mean, that's first of all, that's very smart. There is a book that is not an easy read, but it is a very important book, I believe, for anyone to read. It's called 4,000 Weeks, and
Mm,
it would be. It's funny because when the author talks about it, and he book, and then he gets into why you're not going to understand how to manage, or you're not going to understand how to be more productive as far as like getting more done, but just you're going to understand, you're going to have more tools to understand what's important in your life and what is not important. But and what I got from the book, which is completely different, is in any time of my life, I will have the same urgency and feeling that I am in the present, and that I am I'm obviously a product of the decisions I've made before, but that there is no room for saying something like, oh, that's the future Amitay's problem. Like whatever decisions I make on a regular basis, I will feel them strongly in the future as I feel now the problems that I have now. And
mm-hmm,
that is to me a completely different concept of aging, rather than, oh, I want to get this medical treatment done on my face to look good tomorrow or something like that. And obviously, it's much harder for us as human beings to understand the accumulation of micro decisions. um, so what
mm,
you're explaining is obviously some kind of a obviously a smart approach and an understanding that you want to experience the next 30 years as well as you could, because normally I'm in my late 30s. Normally people in my age really only want to perform well tomorrow. They don't really have a concept of what happens in 10, 20, 30 years. And we need some kind of,
Mhm.
I think we need some kind of community to identify with, whether it's biohacking, keto, whatever that is, in order to help us find congruence. Oh, that's congruent with the identity that I've adopted for myself and the community that I'm a part of. And this is not congruent. Like that's a way to trick our mind to create like better decisions. Because if we're just laissez-faire about it and trying to make decisions on the spot, two things are going to happen. First, you're not going to make good decisions most of the time because you're not going to be in your peak state when you're making them. And the other thing is that you're going to accumulate decision fatigue. Like that's a lot of decisions to make off the bat, and you might starve your decision making ability. I mean, you're going to deprive other things that you need to make a decision in your life. So yeah, what you're saying is like, to me, is very sage advice and route to look at things. And as far as everything that you just mentioned, it's amazing how all of these secondary approaches to health, because obviously anyone who engages in health in their health journey, they want some results that are experiential. I want to look better. I want my tummy to be tighter. I want my skin to look better. I want to feel better when I wake up in the morning. But it is experiential. And
Mhm.
so getting into an ice bath, unless someone, I don't know, really likes the cold, or getting into an ice bath or doing brain tap or sauna, whatever that is, it is secondary because it's going to lead us to the outcome that we want. It doesn't give it to us on, directly. And it's funny how we can then, whatever your end goal is, whether it is within the keto space, skin health space, we can find how those secondary technologies would help anyone who's on a health journey. And that is part of why this conference is so cool, because you don't have to have a common denominator between most people, because these technologies really help a really broad band of conditions and
Right.
journeys. And I mean, what is so this is as far as like technologies. What is the structure of the conference? Obviously there is a main stage and a second stage. There are two stages, right?
Actually, there's four.
Wow.
So there's a main stage. The keynote staging area seats about 1,000
Mm-hmm.
people. And then on the second floor of the convention center, there are three breakout rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them hold about 150 people each. And then we have a VIP breakout room that holds 75 people, and that's for the VIP ticket
Yeah.
holders. Uh, and so we have speakers on the keynote stage and on the two breakout room stages, pretty much from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night on Friday and Saturday, and then until 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday.
And
60, right now we have 68 speakers.
how would
We have,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say we have several panels planned. We're doing a success stories panel for people who have overcome significant challenges utilizing diet and lifestyle to overcome them, and that we're actually opening with that panel.
Mm-hmm.
We're also doing a medical panel, and this year, for the first time, we are doing a regenerative agriculture panel. So, uh, food sourcing and regenerative agriculture an important component of wellness. And this is the first time that we've had an opportunity to bring together a panel of local farmers who are actually utilizing regenerative agriculture to raise their own food and to sell food to their local communities. So this movement is really about educating people locally and providing services locally, and sharing that message so that other communities can continue to do the same thing. And really educating our attendees, because they understand the value of the quality of the food that they put in their mouth. But what I want them to understand is where that food is coming from, and make an effort to support their local providers of the same services. So that's new. We're also doing an entrepreneur mastermind session, which is an add-on to the general admission ticket. And gosh, there's so much happening throughout the event. So when we had talked about the sauna experience and the cold plunge, we're actually doing that live on the exhibitor hall floor.
Wow.
So it is going to be experiential, and that people will be able to experience those sessions. I don't know if you're familiar with the company Sauna Space,
Yes,
but they
of
will be
course.
there, and they're actually going to have EMF blocking tents on the showroom floor for people. Um, there, there's so much happening all at any given time. The cold plunge therapy, the cold plunge experience is going to be um, a people are going to be drawn to that just watching the whole process.
Hmm.
I personally love cold water and have loved the cold plunge experience myself, so I'm excited to see how people react to it and how willing they are to try it.
Yeah, we're just in the midst of getting our own cold plunge here. So yeah,
Mm.
that is definitely exciting. And what I like about, first of all, Sauna Space is an amazing company, and I think they maybe have the best looking sauna that I've ever seen. And obviously, cold plunge is such a. If we talk about biohacking, and really what biohacking is, it's like understanding what is this body kind of evolved to take cues of from the environment, and trying to distill those cues to only drive positive effects, because normally positive comes with negative. We create vitamin D from the sun, but we also get cancer, pigmentation, whatever that is. So trying to distill that positive cue without any negative. And I think obviously cold plunge is one of the you know best ways to do it, because the drawback of being cold is hypothermia. So as long as we don't die from hypothermia, you are really safe plunging into cold water, and it's relatively something most people can implement, um, even if it is buying like there's a special like shower head that cools down the water if you live in Florida and the water is not cool enough, even though they could be.
Right.
Um, that can even be something, and I think most people could use. So um, again, like maybe that's year two, and year three, as far as like the person coming, year three people are the people who are going to an agricultural panel and understanding, okay, at first year I understood like what food I should eat. Second year was what are the what are first year was like, okay, I need to go on keto diet. Second, okay, I need clean keto. I can't eat those whatever that is. Um, n- normal meat, like not non-organic, non-grass fed meat and stuff like that. And third year is really understanding local farming and regenerative farming and the effects of that on the planet. So that's like super, super cool. And how would you recommend someone to approach the conference? Do you think people should come and just, spontaneously go to the lecture that's more interesting to them at this moment of time? Do you recommend like planning ahead of time? How do you see it from your perspective?
Um, we actually are getting ready to share the speaker schedule next week.
Hmm.
Um, it's going out to all the speakers first to make sure that I don't have any requests for changes, and then it will be published on our website. And I highly recommend that people plan
Hmm.
their experience, because there is too much happening at any given time. And if you don't plan in advance, you will miss something that you want to see.
Yes.
We are recording all of the presentations. So if there is one that you do miss, you'll be able to purchase a replay pass. It's very inexpensive, and you'll be able to see all the presentations after the event recorded. But we're only sharing that with the people who have purchased access to it for probably about a year. And then after that, we'll post them on our YouTube channel. But in answer to your question, yes, I highly recommend planning, all the speakers are listed on the speaker page on our website. So I would recommend getting familiar with who all those individuals are. And then once we have the schedule up, make sure that you attend those presentations. I worked really hard to make sure that the speakers that are on any given stage at any given hour are not conflicting, so that people can see the speakers that they want, and the topics are varied. So hopefully they don't miss anything. But if they do, we do have a fallback.
Yeah.
And as far as planning for the event, I really strongly recommend that people come all 3 days. So there's a lot of excitement on the first day. It's kind of overwhelming. When you walk into the venue on day one, you experience this. The energy is, you can feel it as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to experience an environment where everybody in the space where you are is equally as passionate about their health and wellness. So it kind of feels like going to a concert when everybody wants to see, this famed superstar or recording artist that they all love. The energy when you go into a place like that, it just kind of like elevates you.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happens at an event like this, because there's this common theme, this interest, this passion for wellness. It ties everybody together. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that for as long as you can, spending all 3 days there, because it will help you when you leave there and you have all these new tools and new things to think about. That energy, you can carry that energy with you until the next live event that you go to, or carry it with you to when you meet with other people who have similar interests.
Yes, 100%. By the way, you didn't mention something cool that's happening as well, which is the singles biohacker single event that's going on. I don't know if you're even aware of it, but there is some I don't know, some single people are trying to find their match within the space, which is also cool. It definitely is something that's going to support you in your health journey, right? Um, Tell me, you did mention.
That's actually not tied. That's actually not tied to KetoCon. We are not involved in the planning of that.
Oh no, okay, cool. So
But I'm glad to hear that it's happening, and I hope that people will attend it.
yeah, but you did mention a few things that people can buy extra, such as the VIP tickets or the recording pass after.
Virtual replay.
Yeah, virtual
Mm-hmm.
replay, which I think is always positive. Even if something didn't interest you at that point in time, you will for sure, find new points of interest as, again, your journey grows or evolves or whatever. So why would someone
Right.
purchase a VIP pass, and are they still available? What are you getting there? And are there other things that someone should or could purchase separately?
The VIP ticket is a package that's kind of all inclusive. So VIP ticket holders are able to sit in the front rows on the keynote stage, in front of the keynote stage. So there'll be a couple hundred seats reserved for VIP seating. And that's a great experience, because in a space where there's 1,000 people, obviously the further you get away from the stage, you're less you're able to see. And most of the speakers do allow time for Q&A after their presentations. So the closer you are to the stage, the better chance you have of asking a question.
Yeah.
The other thing that the VIP ticket holders get is we have a VIP lounge set up at the venue. So there's free coffee and water and refreshments throughout the day. We do a VIP dinner on Friday evening that all of the speakers and the VIP ticket holders attend. And that's a lot of fun. It's fully catered. It's at an offsite venue, and it's just a social event, but it's an opportunity for people to meet the speakers in a more intimate environment where, they can ask people questions or get to know people. It's a great opportunity to shake hands with the people who you've either been following or listened to speak at the event. We don't do swag bags for the general attendees because we have so many people. So we do a fully packed swag bag for the VIP ticket holders. They also get an event shirt. So we print event shirts for the VIP ticket holders. And we also print a few commemorative items as part of the event for the VIP ticket holders. And then what's in the bag is coming from a select number of the sponsors. And what else? They get free parking in the garage.
Which is a
There's a
huge plus.
VIP check-in.
Which is a huge plus in the Palmer's.
$8 a day at the Palmer Center. Yeah. They charge a lot. And there was one other thing I was going to mention. I can't think of all the things now.
Just means that there are a lot of things, but this is great as far as the VIP goes. In general, I think what I'm getting from it is that obviously everyone could derive benefit out of KetoCon, but this is just a way to, if you can't afford it, a way to strengthen your commitment, both subconsciously saying, I've put more on the line there, but also having things a little more experiential and kind of streamlined in order for you to get the most out of the conference. Even though really, as someone who has been to KetoCon before, everyone will get huge benefit.
The other thing I just remembered that the VIP ticket holders get is we have a VIP breakout room. And so there are 5 additional sessions that are only for the VIP ticket holders, and 5 different speakers who will sit down and have a much more intimate, if you will, conversation with the people in that room. So those are leaders in this space, either by research or by their medical profession or by the uniqueness of the knowledge that they bring. And they'll do 40 minutes or so sessions in the VIP breakout room. And those are closed only to VIP ticket holders. We can accommodate 75 VIPs. I think we have 10 more left. So there's still a few VIP tickets left.
Great.
As of right now.
As far as people coming from outside of Austin, maybe we'll finish with that just so people could understand what they're looking forward to. From your experience, the Palmer Center is situated next to downtown Austin. Do most people have? Do most people stay there? How do you see it normally? Because it doesn't have any accommodation that is completely attached to it, right?
Right. I see a 50-50 mix. So on our website, there's a link to a handful of discounted hotels. That's a good way to get the best rates. But I mean, April is expensive in Austin. When I go into town, I always stay at an Airbnb. And to be honest with you, I mean, that's really the least expensive way to do things. If you can travel with other people or meet other people and rent an Airbnb together, that's really the least expensive way to do it. But if you're not going to be there longer than the 3 days of the event, then the hotel is just as good. And those properties on our website are within a mile of the event center.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Because we come with some staff, we are going to have an Airbnb. But normally when I stay in Austin, whether it is to visit some accounts of ours or to get IVs, we get IVs there or something like that at MSW. We stay at a place called the Carpenter, which is very close to the Palmer Center, and that is probably my favorite. Let's call it like affordable hotel. To be honest, it's really cool. The only problem is if last year when we were at KetoCon, it was in the summer, which was very 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 hot. That's a challenge in Austin. But now I think we're very fortunate to have it in the spring, in April, because that's my favorite time of year in Austin. I mean,
it's beautiful there in the spring.
Robin, maybe to end our conversation, obviously,
Mhm.
as you know, I'm super excited about this conference. We are trying to do whatever we can to expose our audience to this conference because we believe, again, we're a skincare company, okay? But within being a skincare company, what I think we bring to the table that is different, aside from our formulations, aside from the research and development that we invest in, the way that we think about products, that's obviously any company could arguably say that they are going in a path that could lead to some optimal results. But what I feel that we are completely unique in is the understanding that our products are not going to work on their own, that we need our consumers, our clients, to lead as healthy lifestyle as they can in order for our products to give the best results. If you have less inflammation, less stress, if you sleep better, if you have better blood circulation, lymphatic drainage, and we can think of together of 10 other different things, you are going to get better results from what we provide you. So it is very important for us to introduce people to, um, KetoCon and to different technologies that can facilitate the best results out of our products. That's the evil plan that we have here in the podcast, and with sending people to KetoCon. So please, obviously, we're going to have everything in the show notes, but please, if someone's driving and they can't look at the show notes, what's the best way to learn more about KetoCon? Where can they get tickets?
They can go to ketocon.org and they'll find most of the information that we've spoken about today
Mm-hmm.
on the website. There is a Get Tickets button on the home page, and that will lead them to the page that offers the different ticket types. They can choose the ticket type that fits their needs, and when they check out, if they use the code Young Goose, they'll save $50.
I
The
think it's young.
3 day, I thought it was just Young Goose. It might be Young Goose 50. I'll have to look at it. Do
It
you have it right in
it'll
front of
it'll
you?
be in it'll be in the show notes.
Okay. That 3 day ticket is right now $200,
Mm-hmm.
and it's increasing on February 1st and March 1st by $50. So on February 1st it'll be $250. On March 1st it'll be $300. But that discount code will reduce the ticket price by $50 regardless of when people purchase it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Robin. Thank you very much. Thank you for having this event in general. And thank you for getting on this podcast. We will continue and update people on, different things that are happening around this event. And I'm sure that we will meet a lot of people who are listening to this podcast there, and we're very excited for that as well. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're going to be in KetoCon, please come and say hi, etc. But yeah, thank you, Robin, very much for the time you gave us.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right.